Hey folks, Eric here, the whatever guy, because it really is whatever me. And do you folks want to know how these cannabis applications in Alabama reveal hidden problems? You guys stick around, man, and I'll talk to you guys about that. As you guys know, man, my name's Eric. I'm the whatever guy, and I use shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp cannabis, just what's going on around. And as you guys can tell, man, I'm normally pretty informal. I normally just kind of shoot from my kitchen counter, normally with a cup of coffee first thing in the morning and hash it out with you guys. Kudos to Brian Dombrowski. He was the one that actually brought this article to the forefront. I hadn't even seen it. He made a post on LinkedIn yesterday, and we were all commenting on it. And I thought it was kind of funny that he was still stirring the pot because there's still a lot of shit that's going on. Like I told you guys before, they issued 20 of those applications on Friday, and so we're moving forward into the integrated facility presentations this week. And the integrated facility is really where all the issues were. But having said that, this guy, man, this guy that wrote this article over here at the Alabama Reporter, he lays out a lot of cool stuff, a lot of stuff that probably most of us didn't know, and probably a lot of it that even I didn't know. And so we're going to take a look at it, and you guys can take. And this is a little bit longer video today, so you guys get coffee, have a seat, take a look, and we're going to take a look at this article right quick, and we'll have hash it out. We're going to get down to a reach part of it, and then we'll get down to the bottom, and we'll start actually getting into these individual companies and the redactions that they had and the issues that they have with their licenses. He actually breaks it down pretty well. So we're going to go down here, and it says, opinion is medical cannabis applications reveal hidden problems and missing info. This is by Josh Moon over at the Alabama Reporter. You guys check it out. It says two applicants for a medical marijuana license are facing racketeering lawsuits. Another had a 2021 default judgment for skipping out on a $270,000 bill for goods. Multiple applicants' facilities plans show they've yet to begin constructing a facility despite claiming in their applications that they will be able to begin production of medical marijuana within 60 days of receiving a license. Multiple applicants have failed to secure required bonds. At least half of the remaining applicants appear to have violated state laws regarding over-redacting what should be public information in applications. And more than half of the minority applicants have failed to provide documentation proving their minority ownership. These are just some of the more serious problems the APR uncovered during an exhaustive examination of integrated license applications before the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission. In October, an agreement reached by attorneys for the AMCC and attorneys for several companies that filed suit over the licensing process led to a rule change that forced applications, most of which were almost entirely redacted, to limit redactions to only personal information and proprietary business information. That change opened up more information to the public, and it also exposed a number of issues. There's a reason a lot of this stuff was redacted, and it wasn't because it was business secrets, said an attorney who has been involved with the ongoing litigation surrounding the licensing process. What's really troubling is that a lot of the problems involve companies that the AMCC scored very highly. So did they simply miss that these companies were violating these laws that they are supposed to be upholding? Did they not care? Was the fix in? And that's the real question, guys, because even though as we move forward with those licenses that were awarded the other day, there are a couple companies that were awarded licenses that they're not going to be able to get marijuana up on the shelf in 60 days. A couple of those companies that were awarded licenses don't even have the land cleared yet. There's no way. And I've already told you guys, I came from the construction space. I came from the handyman space. It takes a while to build a building. Like you can't tell me anything about putting a pipe up in the middle of a field where an electrical socket's going to be, where a wall is going to be in 6 months. Like that's crazy news to me that they think they're going to clear land and get a building up that they can actually grow marijuana in 60 days because it's going to take 30 to 60 days just to get the building up. The licensing process has been a mess from the start, and litigation over many problems has stalled the process in a stage that was supposed to be over in June. The AMCC has twice awarded licenses only to have the court stop the process, forcing the commission to start over. While the issues have been numerous and complex, one major problem touched on again and again in the lawsuits and in arguments in an open court has been the secretive nature of the process. From the heavily redacted applications that mark just who was vying for licenses to the AMCC, attempting to hide its deliberations from public view, the entire process has seemed determined to keep average citizens and media in the dark. For example, throughout the process, APR has attempted to ascertain simply the proposed locations where many integrated facilities companies plan to do business. Alabama medical cannabis laws require disclosure of the proposed site, its GPS coordinates, and a site photo and proof that it has obtained local authorization to operate at the location. While some applicants put the location information in the unredacted portions of their applications, most hid it. Even after the rule change in October that should have required its disclosure, 14 of the remaining 28 applicants, 9 original applicants have bailed in the process, still have it redacted. Throughout the ongoing process, there have been numerous rumors that some companies were holding off on securing a facility location, and were instead relying on commissioners to award the licenses without confirming the facility locations and/or progress of construction and renovations. Yet on their applications, those companies maintained that they could meet the 60-day production deadline. I just told you guys that that's pretty much impossible. Like even that company out there that was that went and spoke last week that said that they had this crew already in place, everything was ready to go. They hadn't even had the land cleared yet. There's no way that they're getting them chicken houses up in 30 days. It's not possible. And I've already told you that it takes 8 weeks for a marijuana plant to grow. So we're already 6 weeks into the process before you even get the building up. So how are you going to get marijuana up on a shelf in 60 days? It's not possible. Natural relief excuse me. Natural relief cultivation, for example, ranked 16th in the last round of scoring by MCC, and it claimed that it could be ready to cultivate in 45 days. But on its application filed with the AMCC, the company wrote that it will construct a new cultivation facility and that it would need to construct new dispensary sites as well. Samson Growth also identified a vacant lot at its proposed cultivation site. The property is located on Highway 52, the company said, but it doesn't yet have an address. After receiving a license, Samson planned to begin construction. It told the AMCC it'd be ready to cultivate in 60 days. And for everybody's information, I don't like Samson extracts. Like Samson Growth, Samson extracts, those guys down there are pieces of crap. They are the type of people that will hire a salesman, allow him to build up a major clientele, and then fire him for some crazy reason and allow one of their supervisors or managers to take over those sales. So that he doesn't have to pay that commission out to that salesman. They did a really good friend of mine that way. I really don't like Samson, and I really hope that Samson Growth does not get an application. Other applicants like Artemis Agriculture Industries and Aspire Medical didn't provide any information at all about their proposed cultivation sites. These companies think they can get away with it because the commissioners have no intention of visiting these sites prior to handing out a license, said a state elected official who was involved in the licensing process. Why wouldn't you take a visit before awarding the license? It's not like we're talking about that many places. There are also requirements under medical cannabis laws that seemingly aren't being met by many applicants, including some previous top scores for an integrated license. The law requires applicants to provide proof that they can obtain a $2 million performance bond, and that any applicant seeking a minority vendor status provides certain documentation. Only 2 companies, Alabama Always and Sustainable Alabama, seeking an integrated license, have attained a performance bond, while several others claim they have demonstrated the ability to obtain a performance bond, which is the requirement up to the point of the license issued. That alleged proof in some cases is no more than the applicants citing the steps for applying for a bond. Also, of the 13 companies claiming minority ownership, 3 Notch Roots, Southeast Cannabis Company, and TheraTrue Alabama either provide no evidence to support the minority claim or have that information redacted. And then there are lawsuits, according to a lengthy description outlining what AMCC commissioners can consider when evaluating licenses. A considerable amount of time is spent covering the impact of ongoing recent litigation, particularly litigation regarding the business practices of applicants would have on the process. Specifically, the AMCC's Guide for Integrated License Applicants says the commission will consider whether the applicant has been served with a complaint or other notice with any other court, public agency regarding payment of any tax required under federal, state, or local law that has been delinquent for 1 or more years. Whether the applicant has a history of noncompliance with a regulatory requirement in this state or any other jurisdiction, whether the application of the applicant is or in the past 10 years has been a defendant in litigation involving business practices. I'm not going to read the rest of these. So both Verano and Trulieve are currently facing multiple lawsuits, including each company facing allegations of racketeering. Trulieve is being sued by the mother of an employee who died as a result of an occupational asthma, according to the Centers for Disease Control. The lawsuit claims the company's HVAC system didn't work properly, causing mold, and the continued inhalation of the mold caused the employer's death. In another lawsuit, in which Trulieve filed claiming Harvest Ohio owed more than $23 million in unpaid loans, the owners of Harvest counterclaimed, alleging that Trulieve conspired to take over Harvest by issuing predatory loans and misleading Harvest owners. Trulieve has also filed suit against several former employees, claiming that they participated in a kickback scheme with certain vendors, selling shelf space to vendors for certain products. Verano which was rated the top scorer in the AMCC licensing process, has faced its own legal challenges. In 2019, it faced a $135 million lawsuit for allegedly cutting its Nevada business partners out of new licenses. In 2020, it faced wild allegations of a former employee transporting marijuana illegally to Arkansas in Whole Foods salad containers. In 2021, Verano settled racial discrimination claims that included allegations in illegal transported marijuana onto military bases. And earlier this year, a female employee in New Jersey filed suit claiming sexual harassment, gender discrimination, and retaliation by the company. APR has previously reported on the various issues regarding Three Notch Roots, a subsidiary of Curaleaf. Numerous media outlets have noted Curaleaf's ties to a Russian billionaire who is sanctioned by the U.S. government. Curaleaf was sued in November by Reef Dispensaries, which Curaleaf, the country's largest legal weed company, bought last year for $181 million. That lawsuit claims Curaleaf is trying to short Reef more than $13 million. In March, the company was sued by a former employee claiming whistleblower status, who said he was fired after participating in an investigation into employees drinking on the job. In August 2022, the company settled a class action lawsuit for $100,000, which claimed that CBD oil products were mislabeled. An associated wrongful death lawsuit was settled privately, and the company paid out $130,000 to 10 people in Oregon over the mishap. In October 2022, New York Cannabis Insider reported that Curaleaf had mislabeled products in that state, causing 2 recalls within the year. Majority owner of Southeast Cannabis, Shore Acres Plant Farm in Theodore, was hit with a default judgment in a 2019 lawsuit alleging it skipped out on a $275,000 bill from a vendor. The court ordered Shore Acres to pay nearly $300,000. It's unclear, if any, impact the lawsuits and settlements and various mishaps along the multitude of application issues might have on the integrated licensing process, which is scheduled to begin on Tuesday. However, through 2 previous rounds, the problems have made little to no difference. Why that is remains unclear, since the AMCC commissioners rarely hold any public discussions regarding the applications or the applicants. To date, through two heavily scrutinized rounds of awarding licenses, there has been no public debate among commissioners over the applicants. In fact, the commissioners held almost all meaningful discussions, even took votes during an executive session. Attorneys closely following the process told APR that if the licensing process remains secretive, expect more legal action. It is my understanding that a temporary restraining order is ready to be filed, just based on what we've witnessed from the other hearings, for other types of licenses, said an attorney representing one of the applicants. I don't know why they insist on doing it in secret. Even if you had no bad intentions, it makes it look like you do. Just be fair and open. Why is that so hard? Guys, it appears that even though we look like the AMCC appears to be kind of going in the right direction, we're going to find out more about that this week with these integrated facility presentations. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I have been through the lab through the plant over at Oz City Labs. Those guys have probably one of the best facilities that I have ever seen. It would be a shame if those commissioners did not award them a license based on the fact that they could actually get marijuana up on the shelf in 60 days. They've already got the infrastructure in place. So guys, these other companies like Samson and those guys that still have to clear the land, they're integrated facilities. These are integrated facilities, guys. Now, we're not talking about just one license here. We're talking about all the licenses included in one: cultivator, processor, secure transport, lab. All that stuff is basically figured up into the integrated licenses. Dispensaries too. So every one of these companies out there that's talking about getting marijuana up on the shelf in 60 days, the only company, first off, let me just say this. I don't think that any of these integrated facilities are going to be able to get marijuana up on the shelf in 60 days. But the companies that can at least get the process started, or by dropping a seed in the bucket, are companies like Oz City Labs over there. Those guys can actually do it. Same thing with the cultivator space, like Antoine Mortican. Those guys, all they got to do is drop a seed in the bucket, because they've already got the infrastructure in place to grow marijuana and extract it and do everything that they need. They have that over at Oz City Labs. They can actually get that going. I think the only issue they may have would be their dispensaries down the road, and I think they've got a plan for that too. But having said that, we're going to find out what's going on this week, and as you guys can see, it appears that we're going to have a lot more litigation in the future. All right, folks, this is Whatever Guy signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love it. See ya.